what do you want to say, first guest I think we ever had on CBK Radioland. But first, CBK, how are you doing today?
Hey, Tim Kuda, what's up, man? It's CBK. I'm live, still alive, I guess.
Yeah, you're still alive. We're still alive, and it's a pleasure to have with us today Aubrey Madison. Aubrey, how are you doing?
Give it up, baby. Give it up. Woo!
Hey, guys. I'm doing pretty great, all things considered. Thank you so much for having me on.
However, what have you been doing during this time of self-sheltering in place and all the quarantine stuff? What have you been up to?
Well, I had actually come down earlier before the shelter in place took effect to help my dad with rehab because he had to undergo surgery. So I was lucky enough to quarantine with my family outside of LA. So thankfully it's a little more relaxing. But while I am in this quarantine, I've been working more on my songwriting and song creation. It just really sparked my interest after working with some wonderful people on creating songs. And thanks to this quarantine, I've actually put out into the universe this song that I wrote an English version of for a Korean boy group called Only One Of, and it's for an English version of their song Dora Maar, which is up on YouTube. You can see my cover up on there when you search my name, Aubrey Madison. And it's really cool. I put the submission out, and so now we'll see what they think. So who knows? I also am working on another song for a documentary, which actually covers kind of what we're going through right now, which is how music can uplift people through adversity. So I look forward to hearing more details about that. And yeah, I've just been working on self-improvement, working on new skills, and, you know, staying active, making sure my dad gets the rehab he needs, keeping the dog walked, and, you know, learning something new every day. So I think, you know, there's a silver lining in this little tough spot.
Yep, staying busy is always a good thing. CBK's got, even before this, you were active, doing a lot of things. I know CBK has some questions on some of the work that you had been doing prior to this and whatnot and everything that's been going on. So, CBK, what do you got?
Hey, Aubrey, it's always a pleasure. You're an absolute amazing gal. I'm glad. It's funny, we had you, on our first podcast way back when, and it's good to have you back. So thanks so much for taking your time, number one.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. It's been an honor.
It's just cool to me to think that, hey, we've interviewed a very famous, we played your music on the station, of course, and now here we are back again. So in this strange times that we're in, right?
Right. Yeah. It's times like these that bring us together.
So, Aubrey, I have to know, because last year you were invited, as was I, to Jenna Suru's The L'Age d'Or, the Golden Age movie premiere. And I know we got to bring her in because I couldn't make it. Jenna invited me. You originally had introduced us. That's how I even got the interview, in the first place. So I just want to know, what was your experience in LA with Jenna and all the cast and all the L'Age d'Or folks? Can you just give us a synopsis of what you saw then, please?
Yeah, well, Jenna's a dear friend of mine, and I had worked on the film with her as a voiceover role. So unfortunately, I didn't get to see the exact workings of the shoot day by day, but, it's been doing amazing at festivals, and just seeing her up there expressing just the wonderful message in the movie about music and, coming together. It almost works for a situation like this. And it's been just so awesome to see how well it's been doing in festivals, and I'm really happy for her. And, we're hoping, she has attached me to her next film, but as of right now, because of what's going on, currently that's plan has been put on hold. But, once we can go back to filming, I'm looking forward to seeing her again and, catching up.
Yeah, that was like last year that the LA premiere happened, and last week, give or take, the UK film festival took off, and she was voted best female director for the drama period, the movie L'Age d'Or. That's pretty cool.
I know.
So
that is. Yeah, I'm super happy for her. I, made sure to keep in contact, and she's been letting me know how things are going, and, I'm just really happy for her.
She's an avid follower of CBK Radioland, I guess, because we got to talk to her. But I'm grateful to even know her, and thanks so much for turning me on to her, as well as our good pal Tash Stone in Australia, who you have contacts with as well. So thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, no problem. Thank you.
So CBK, you were saying that you were looking at Aubrey's IMDb page, and you had you thought there was a lot of some interesting things on there, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely. She's involved with that. Of course, she could probably tell it herself. You're involved with Sisterhood, right, Aubrey?
Yes, yeah. We worked, Christina and I, the director, we have worked on that, together right around the time that Rather Be Loved came out. And we were hoping to do a second season, but she's been so busy with her own career and just directing and, putting out so many other wonderful projects that, hopefully at some point we can go back to thinking about a season 2. But yeah, I've been keeping busy with the web series, like the 2 Japanese web series that I've been working on. We Love Coach TC and Bear Tours. We were lucky enough to get an extra season out of that before the quarantine went into effect, so we'll be releasing those on national television in Japan, since they both were picked up for national television runs over there as well. So very excited about that. But
yeah,
people here can see it as well on YouTube. So before I forget.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, check those out. You work with a talented cast of comical geniuses, I must say, and it's funny. It's really cool how just how you're involved with these little the miniseries and all these cool things. But it's great to know that you're still involved with things. And because of the COVID, has everything pretty much kind of cut down as far as work goes?
Absolutely. I was in the process of working with the co-writer for the song Rather Be Loved. His name is Nick Natoli. I hadn't met with him until he reached out to me about a year or so ago to work with him at Warner Chappell Music, since he had recently been picked up for Warner Chappell Music. And he asked me, hey, would you like to work on recording and writing some songs for me to present to Warner Chappell? And I said, yeah, absolutely. And so we were working on, we had one song that we had completed and 2 songs that were in the process of being finalized and touched up on before this whole situation came around. And so unfortunately we've had to put those plans on hold at the moment, since I couldn't go into the studio. And, there's not much we can do over the phone. And so a lot of the work, acting-wise, modeling-wise, musically, the entertainment industry as a whole in LA and around the world has kind of had to be put on hold, unfortunately, which is tough for all the people that work in those industries. And, for the people that need those auditions and need those sessions. So, hopefully, we can have this all kind of taken care of as soon as possible for everyone's sake. But yeah.
You mentioned. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, with everything that's been going on, do you happen to have like a studio in your house, or do you have any available type of recording stuff, so that way you can get maybe some demos down on tape? Or I say tape, that dates me back to let's get out the real, CBK. We get out the real. But do you have any means to do that now, or are you just kind of recording stuff on your iPhone?
Well, no. Thankfully, I'm lucky enough to have a video camera that's a pretty nice quality that I use for the video that I mentioned earlier, the Korean boy band, Only One of Dora Maar. I was able to use that camera to record just the lyrics and me covering it. Otherwise, I have a relatively decent mic that I use for song covers, and if I need to put out an audition reel, although most auditions are kind of slowing down because of this, if there are virtual auditions going out, I can use that camera and I can use that microphone to take what I need and send it out. But yeah, I'm lucky enough that I do have those things. There are people that only have their phone or don't have any of that and can't go into their, studio or book a place out to. But of course, it's nothing like my friend Nick Natoli's studio. He has a mic that Prince recorded Purple Rain on. It's nothing to that level, but and we're nothing like Kristen and her setup, but Christina's. But I'm very thankful.
Well, yeah, something's better than nothing, as they say. Something is, if you have the ability to at least, because that's where that's what my next question was about, like the virtual auditions, and if you're seeing, like, for example, you watch the Tonight Show or you watch Jimmy Kimmel or something. They're doing it all from home, from like either their iPhone or a camcorder, and their wives or their kids or their video camera operators, and that's been acceptable right now. Anything news people doing the live shot from their couch has been acceptable as well. So I guess it's just kind of interesting.
Radio people too, man.
It's just kind of interesting to see where we've gone with that, and how. And I was, like I said, I didn't know if producers or people who are, if there's movies going on, if they're still working, trying to at least get things lined up, waiting, when this ends, so that way you can audition through your phone or I mean, I'm sure it's not the same, but that's why I was curious what type of setup you have, because like you're right, there are some people who have these great studios in their basement. CBK, do you know anybody who has one of those?
Yeah, I do. I do know, buddy. In fact, Aubrey, you started on YouTube, right? You started singing parody songs or something as well, too. That's how you were noticed.
Yeah, I did start on YouTube. I actually did a lot of Japanese covers on YouTube after I really started teaching myself Japanese. And I would just use, my dad's camera, and we'd record in, an office or in the backyard. So, that definitely isn't so different than what I'm doing right now, but it's not the professional lighting or, magic, magic studios that, Warner Chappell has, where they record We Are the World, but for what we need right now, I think it's really awesome that people are able to use what we have around the house as a way to connect and, go on with life. And I think that's great that, we can still use this to stay connected.
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
CBK?
I was just going to say, it's really, even though the conditions that we're under these days, entertainers like Steve Martin and those folks, they're doing the banjo, man. They're outside in their backyards, trying to keep their faith or their sanity, right? To keep it together. Absolutely.
And I think that's great.
So Aubrey, we talked a while back, and I'm just curious, and I don't think I asked you this way back when, but you've obviously been in the acting gig, the singing and modeling and what for a while now. Who do you think, like, what are some of your biggest influences? Maybe some of the reasons or some of the people that when you were growing up, that you said, yeah, I want to do this because of, I like what these people are doing, or maybe there was no influences. Maybe it's just something you decided you liked to do and wanted to get involved. So, I mean, was there anybody in particular who was whether it was just an inspiration, or maybe you've got some mentors out there too that people might not even realize?
Well, that's interesting that you ask, because when I was younger, I was kind of afraid of standing in front of the camera. When I was a little kid, I did not like having my picture taken. I didn't like being recorded, so there was a point when I was younger that kind of switched, and it almost was a 180. And I started, singing a lot just at home, and my mom heard me singing, and she's like, you should audition for the school talent show. And this is when I was around 8, 9 years old. And I was against it. I was like, no, I don't feel comfortable standing in front of people and singing. And I finally gave in because, she just didn't take no for an answer. But, I'm really glad that she did push me forward to get me into that, because it was such an amazing experience. And it kind of showed me that, oh, wow, I can do this. It's really fun. And I want to continue doing this. And so, I went into a lot of, things that kids, around that age would do if you're interested in music and acting. And it was the local theater scene and just doing a lot of plays. And those were a lot of fun. And I think some mentors that I had early on I had a casting director. Her name was Kathy Henderson. She was actually holding a kind of audition acting workshop in the local area. And our town's pretty small, so having someone come in from LA to host this acting workshop was really cool. And she worked on big projects. She cast for the original Charlie's Angels, so she had, a lot of experience in that field. And so we're like, okay, sure. And so I went in and I, took the acting workshop, and she saw me and she was like, you know what? I can help you out here. If you let me mentor you, I can, give you some advice and give you some, leads to go and get some experience in the LA world. And she was really an eye-opener for me, and acting-wise. It was such a crazy scene, just in general, Hollywood's a crazy scene. And, just having her help me out with, getting started. And obviously I didn't go fully into it at the time because I was still very young. But just having that experience, just trying it out and going on auditions was something that really helped me later in life when I took to this fully. Singing-wise, I had a wonderful man, Don Grierson, who has, unfortunately passed away, as has Kathy at this point, and, which is quite a shame. Both of them were lovely people. But he helped me out in this singing world as well. I've been so lucky to have such wonderful people. He introduced me to the producer who worked on Rather Be Loved, Chris Garcia, and he has kind of taken over that mentor role that Don was for the early stages of my singing career. And, he just was an amazing guy. He worked for A&R at Capitol Records and, kind of helped bring the Beatles to the American scene. And he just had so much knowledge and experience. And, having those kinds of people really supporting you in these kinds of careers, just anybody who can help out. He discovered Celine Dion. He had these amazing, experiences, and, he was kind enough to give me advice and give me expertise on how to go about this whole scene, because without him and without Kathy, I wouldn't really know what to do. I had Midwestern parents. They didn't really have any experience in the acting world, and neither did I. So, having these kinds of people to help you and to guide you is really amazing. And I hope to be like that for somebody else, if I get to that point. Obviously, I'm no one right now, but even just now, hopefully I can help people out, give advice, because I needed that, and, anybody needs a little help. So.
Well, you were talking about being scared of being on camera. Well, that's okay, because CBK, he doesn't like the camera at all. In fact, he doesn't like us doing these. He doesn't like doing these video casts. He would prefer to stay behind the curtain, and just so you hear his voice. And so CBK, and on another interesting. Well, go ahead.
That's okay. I'm behind the curtain as well, as you can tell. I'm in a bit of a quarantine couture right now, so I'm glad
Good
I
job,
had the
Aubrey.
opportunity.
Good job.
Yeah, exactly. So it was interesting. You also said that he did one of your the guests discovered Celine Dion, and I don't know, CBK. I don't know if I told you this, but in about a month, I'm going to be neighbors with Celine Dion. Did I mention that to you?
No.
Kind of. In a roundabout way, we're building a house in Las Vegas in this area called Lake Las Vegas, and Celine and a couple other people out there have houses, and so I won't be like her next door neighbor, but she'll be down the road about a quarter of the mile. Seriously.
Hey, that's pretty nice.
Absolutely.
That's more than
Seriously.
I can say.
So we'll see.
You have to give her some Canadian geese as pets, TK.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the thing: is that's if we can get out there. There's talk about having interstate travel restrictions, so it might be tough to get out there. But if we can get out there and close on this house, she's going to be. I could see her in the neighborhood as I go for a walk on a quarantine. You just it's Celine.
Walking your dog. Hey, Celine, what's up? I'm Tim Kuda.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, that would be fun. I'm not anticipating it. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, you never know.
No, I was gonna say I'm not anticipating it, but you just never know who you're going to run, especially in Las Vegas, because Las Vegas is one of those places where it's just you just never know who you're going to run into there. It could run into Aubrey Madison. You never know. Aubrey, you could have in your future one of those.
Quite a surprise.
You could have one of those. What do you want to say? The engagements or those residencies, right? You could have a residency in Las Vegas. You never know.
There you go. That would be awesome.
You never know. Yeah, that'd be fun.
If you never know, CBK, you got something?
Do I got anything?
Well, you look like you were chomping at the bit to talk there. See, I can see you even when you're not on the camera. I got all the monitors, so I'm like, oh, CBK, he wants to talk. So I'm like, I better throw it to him.
Tim Kuda has all these cameras watching me. He's like, I gotta watch out. No, it's been a great honor, really, to know you, Aubrey. I mean, I just think you're a great friend. You retweet everything we do, which is cool.
Oh, of course. I love supporting, such great friends and, and great projects. So thank you so much. I really appreciate knowing you guys and, having me be a part of your world. So thank you so much.
Well, Aubrey, we were playing your music when we had a radio station. When we had a radio station, we were playing it.
I love it.
It was in the rotation, but the radio station unfortunately had to get.
I always say, "Hey, Aubrey's here. Let's go crazy, start dancing." So.
Yeah, unfortunately we had to shut it down.
Oh, that's too bad.
I don't know if you know, Tim, she's had 2 other songs, too, come out. We almost got them on the station, but then by then things were on the downhill. So,
yeah, unfortunately.
Well, hopefully, I'm working on your music, so hopefully whatever you have, sorry for interrupting, hopefully, on your digital radio station, on our show right now, you can play them once they're ready. So, here's hoping.
Here's the thing: is like I always run into these issues with copyrights and RIAA and ASCAP, and it's there's these things like legal stuff out there, and you wouldn't think they wouldn't go after a little a podcast radio station, whatever you want to call it, but they will. They've changed the laws, and it's actually for your protection, to be honest with you, because songwriters like you, recording artists like you, it's hard now to make a living. You go back to the 80s, right, and you got on the radio, and bam, you could sell records. Yeah, records. Even though, and CBK and my daughter Megan, who's 16, we're talking about, she's buying vinyl records again. I guess the vinyl's coming back, but you buy records. Exactly, you'd buy records, and now singers and artists don't have that option. So basically, they make their money. doing live acts and not having their stuff copyright infringed upon. And so it's funny because even though you sent me those tracks, it's like there's rules in regards to podcasting about playing tracks that are recorded. I mean, even if you gave me permission, which is kind of funny, if you gave me permission to play it, it's fine, but you have to own that recording too. Like you can't, it's not just, and ASCAP, it's weird. It's like even artists who own their stuff, if they're filed through ASCAP and RIAA, you still have to have the license through them to technically legally play it, which is just, it's all this legal stuff. And I probably should have been a lawyer.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to lose my no money making podcast either.
Always a tough decision. But yeah, it's gotten really complicated these days, and that's a shame. But I understand, obviously, protecting the.
And when we had the radio station, when we did have the live streaming station, we were completely legal. We had the licenses. We were 100% on board with all of that. So that's why we were able to play your songs, which was great to do. But that costs money, and we were trying to get people to listen to the radio station. We thought we had a great format. It was kind of a free-for-all format. We play anything, and and it turns out a lot of those formats are actually starting to flourish in local areas around the country. But we just couldn't get off the ground on the internet, and that's just the way it is. And sometimes things work, and sometimes they don't. But this podcasting thing is fun, and CBK and I have known each other for a long time. We were on the radio back for the Armed Forces Radio Television Service back in the Navy in the 90s, like 95. So we've known each other for a long time. Wow. And it's kind of fun to do these type of things and to have people like you come on and talk. And CBK had the chance, he talked to, Jenna Suru, I know he mentioned, and a couple other people. He's had a chance to talk to a lot of people. Actually, I used to call them like B or C movie stars. I mean, Eddie Deason. I heard Eddie Deason on something the other day, and I was like, hey, CBK, you talked to Eddie Deason for like an hour.
Oh, yeah. He took a lot of time.
Quite the connection.
I think he would have kept going because he has a Beatles knowledge or some connection with some. He would have kept going for hours and hours, man. So.
Well, then I also heard. Well, I heard Crispin Glover I meant to tell you this, about 6 months ago. I heard him talking about the guy who replaced him on Back to the Future 2, and he never said his name. And it was Jeffrey Weissman, who we also had on. You also talked to him. And so Aubrey, you didn't realize like this CBK guy. He's hobnobbing with all these B or C movie stars.
Like the influencer there.
I gotta get somebody in there. Come on.
So we still have those.
Awesome.
We still have those interviews up on our site, as well as the interview we did with you a few years ago. So we've got all those interviews there. But yeah, so it's been nice and it's been fun to do some of this stuff, and obviously to talk to you because we support everything that you're doing. We wish you nothing but the best. We hope that obviously the delay here with what's going on in the world, it's hurting everybody, but hopefully it keeps your career, moving forward, and you get the opportunity to either through this Korean boy group, this song that you got that you're trying to win the contest, or if it's whatever it might be that you're able to be successful. Because I mean, you could probably go into how you've been in this business for a while now, and how hard it is to become successful. Nowadays, any day really in this type of a field.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, thank you so much, you guys. That means a lot. I love you guys, and I love this show, and I wish you all nothing but the best, and I hope more people get to hear it. And so I really appreciate the kind words. Thank you so much.
No problem. CBK, you got any last things here for Aubrey before we cut her loose?
Aubrey, remember when I don't know if you know, I've moved. I used to live in the PDX, and every time you drove past Tualatin all the time. Your younger, was that your birthplace? I forgot.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh.
So all I know about Tualatin is the 5 freeway and the 205 come together, and man, it can be crazy traffic, man. Stay away.
Oh, good to know. Well, you know more than me because I was only a baby when I was there, so you're more of an expert. So that's how funny.
Anyway, when I drove through, often back north and south on my travels, I always thought about Aubrey Madison lived here. So thanks so much.
Well, thank you.
Well, there you go.
Bet.
There you go,
You're,
Aubrey.
You're a pleasure. And you're awesome. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to us.
Yeah, Aubrey,
Thank you guys so much. Love you both.
We really appreciate it. Love you too. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully everything works out great. And if there's anything that we could ever do for you, just let us know. We'd be more than happy to promote or just say hi or just give a shout out or whatever it might be. We're here. So thank you for joining us, taking a little bit of time here and on a Friday night. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you guys both so much, and same here. I'd love to promote whatever you guys have in store, and thank you again for having me on.
Yeah, I think the promotion is just going to be CBK and TK ramble. I think that's just we ramble and just talk about stuff. So anyway, Aubrey, thanks.
Way more than a rambler. She's.
Yeah.
I rambled this past interview, so you know me. I love rambling.
Oh, there we go.
You're great. You're awesome. Thanks so much. It's a pleasure to know you.
Thanks, Aubrey. Really appreciate it.
Great knowing you guys.
All right.
Yeah, same here. Have a good one.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Aubrey Madison, everybody. Go check her out on YouTube. Check out her YouTube page, Aubrey Madison, AubreyMadison.com. You can go and check that out. So CBK, it's nice to chit-chat with her, isn't it?
Wow, it's so cool, man. Yeah, I don't know how many years ago that was, like 4 years ago when we interviewed her, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it was a while. It was a while back. And I know you've had some interactions with her through time. So, but I'm glad we had a chance. I'm glad people, it was funny. I went and started the stream and it like failed. And I'm like, here, of course, the stream's going to fail right when I need it to not to. But then I hit it again and guess what? It worked. So we were able to stream this live on YouTube and whatnot. So it will. So everybody I was trying to like move around and my crazy camera works. So we'll see how it goes. But anyways, I appreciate everybody listening to CBKRadioland.com. We'll be back, I'm sure, soon. CBK's got a new schedule. I got a new schedule, at least for a few days. So we'll probably and check out, what is it? What's New with CBK. Check that out on the Anchor FM because CBK
I did.
is the anchor.
What? Yeah, gosh, that's what it was funny when I was doing that call last night and I was like, oh, it's going to record Tim because I was talking about you and all of a sudden you call on my phone, but apparently that Anchor app, it cuts the call, man. No calls allowed. No calls allowed.
No calls allowed. CBK is the anchor. Dead weight. No, just the anchor.
You were saying he's going to go down right down
exactly.
to the deep ocean. And I was talking about pufferfish and octopus.
Exactly. Take the anchor, man. Anchor FM. Check it out. CBK. What's new with CBK? Anchor FM. Or you can check us out here on Transistor FM. CBK Radioland.
Yeah, here. I hope to do more Thursday night stuff too if I'm available. Because that's always been our time, right? The Thursday night live show with
Thursday
the gang.
Night.
So I've what's the word? I've asked them to get on that app, and as well as you, and then maybe we can all get together again and have a big party. I don't know.
Big party. It could happen. You never know. But we'll be here on CBK Radioland. We'll be here at CBK Radioland nonetheless. If we can get on the Anchor FM with What's New with CBK or just here at CBKRadioland.com, it's all here. So.
And I was promoting Veterans Cast too, man. So
I heard that. Yes, thank you very much. I did hear that. Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. Yes, veteranscast.com. So appreciate that. So, all right. Well, we're going to call it a night here on a Friday night. I got to go eat dinner. So that's what happens.
Me too, man.
Cool. All right. So for CBK, I'm TK, Tim Kuda, and we'll catch you next time right here at CBKRadioland.com. So long.